Colossus, aka Peter Rasputin, is a member of the X-Men. He's a Russian mutant who can transform himself into a form of organic steel, making him the strongest of his group. When he transforms, he doubles his weight, going from 250 to 500 pounds, and he grows a foot taller. His powers are superhuman strength, stamina, and durability. Colossus is also extremely resistant to injury.
Colossus's strong metal body has its own physical properties. First off, in World War Hulk X-Men, Worldbreaker Hulk, the strongest Hulk in canon, was able to bend Colossus's arms without snapping them. This shows that Colossus's body is very malleable. A metal's malleability can be measured by how much pressure it can withstand without breaking, and his arms managed to survive the Hulk's super strength. Malleability works by forcing the metal's atoms into different positions while keeping the metallic bond between the atoms. Because of Colossus's nature of being made of metal, his skin's properties are heavily influenced by blacksmiths and metalsmiths. In the Uncanny X-Men, number 178, Colossus is frozen by being heated up to extreme temperatures and then being frozen by liquid nitrogen. This is an example of quenching, a commonly used technique in blacksmithing to harden a metal by cooling it down rapidly in a separate medium such as water or oil. This traps carbon atoms and other gases in the metal, making the metal much harder than to begin with. Oftentimes, this makes the metal too brittle and stressed, needing a second process to temper the metal by reheating the metal and then letting it cool slowly the second time.
In the movie Deadpool, Colossus was made heavily through computer science. He required a total of 5 actors to create the character, with 2 for body movements, 2 for facial movements, and 1 for the voiceover. With the assistance of Digital Domain, Colossus was created with incredible CGI, or computer-generated image technology. The toughest part was to create the facial motion, as the production studio had already recorded the audio and Digital Domain had to create the face on top. The first step of the process was to use their MOVA technology to very accurately capture an actor's facial movements. This was done with ultraviolet cameras and special paint splatters to create a digital map of the actor's face. However, the actor did not look like Colossus, so the second step was to cast the facial movements onto the Colossus model. This Colossus model had to reflect the original movements perfectly as to be as natural as possible. The second model required extensive amounts of research regarding metal and its tarnishes to be able to accurately recreate the motions of the metals.
There are many interesting elements in the biology involving the superhero Colossus. For example, his skin has the ability to change into a steel form. The purpose of skin is to prevent water, pathogens, and other outside factors from entering and disrupting the body, which is done in processes such as thermoregulation. Thermoregulation is key in maintaining homeostasis. This is an extreme problem for Colossus, as his metabolism and his muscles produce a lot of heat. To combat this, the skin uses sweat ducts, which are important to promote heat loss and thermoregulation. Without thermoregulation, hyperpyrexia can occur. Hyperpyrexia is when the core temperature of a person exceeds 42 degrees Celsius, which can negatively affect the normal physiological behavior and in extreme cases, cause death. It is predicted that Colossus can only change his epidermis and dermis layers, as going deeper into the hypodermis would impair biological functionality. A more realistic material that could be used for Colossus's dermis layer is graphene. Graphene is a honeycomb lattice layer that is 1 carbon thick. Although this material is extremely thin, it is stronger than diamond. A biographene layer could help his body in ways such as reabsorbing important electrolytes, which would be useful for when he is battling villains for long periods of time. Since it is transparent, it could further be used to cover and protect Colossus's eyes in place of steel, which, outside of the comic books, would not allow him to see.
Arguably, one of Colossus's greatest feats of strength was lifting a K-14 submarine out of the water. Although this submarine is fictional, it is heavily modeled off of the Russian Oscar II class submarine. This class of submarine has a displacement of 19,400 metric tons while stationary in the water, meaning its density matches that of the water. Therefore, using density equals mass divided by volume, the volume of the submarine is approximately 18,926 meters cubed. Now, to control depth, submarines use ballast tanks, which they fill up with water to control the submarine's density, allowing it to sink or rise. In the Oscar II class submarine, they account for approximately 10% of the submarine's volume, or 1,892 meters cubed. When they are half full, the submarine has the same density as water, while filling the ballast tank entirely causes the submarine to sink. When half full, the air in the ballast tanks has a mass of 918 kilograms, which can be found by multiplying the pressurized air by half the volume of the ballast tank. When the air is replaced with water, the new salt water has a mass of 974,380 kilograms, adding an additional 973,462 kilograms, meaning the sunken submarine had an overall mass of 20,373,462 kilograms. However, not only did he pick it up, he also brought the submarine from the bottom of the Barents Sea to its surface, an average distance of 200 meters. Therefore, by multiplying this distance by the force required, Colossus exerted a total of 1.7 billion joules to bring the submarine to the surface of the water, which is roughly equivalent to the energy used by a 100-ton Boeing 757 flying at 350 miles per hour, or the energy released by 900 pounds of TNT.
When Colossus is in his metal form, he does not need to eat or drink anything for nutrients since metal doesn't require nutrients to exist. The strength of Colossus may be limitless, but he does have the strength to throw an average-sized male adult into a car and destroy the car due to the impact of his body. Even though Colossus is bulletproof when he is transformed, it does not make him immune to everything. In the movie X-Men: Days of the Future Past, Colossus dies due to being ripped in half. He can also die due to being exposed to rapid and extreme temperature changes. Colossus has great resistance to hot and cold due to the metal he can transform to. When Colossus transforms, he gains an extra 30 centimeters in height, and his weight gets doubled from 250 pounds human form to 5 tons metallic form.